What if the future isn't just coming, but already here? Throughout history, eerie predictions have surfaced, some dismissed as myths, others oddly accurate. Ancient scrolls and forgotten prophecies have haunted us for centuries. Now, as technology races forward and global tensions reach an all-time high, the most chilling predictions are about to come true.
After the series of catastrophes that Nostradamus has prophesied for us, we will have to reassess our place on the earth and how we live on it and what we do to survive.
So, what exactly has been foretold? Here are 12 prophecies that are about to fulfill. Number 12. Solar tsunami. Imagine waking up to a world where your phone won't turn on, no internet, no power, just total darkness. It sounds too unreal to even picture. Guess what though? Bulgarian mystic Baba Vanga, famous for her eerily accurate predictions, warned that a solar tsunami could make this nightmare a reality. Her prophecy was that a cataclysmic solar storm would erupt, obliterating Earth's magnetic shield. The result? Massive electrical chaos. She compared it to the impact of a nuclear blast, shutting down communication systems worldwide. At first, it sounds like just another wild prediction. However, here's where things get chilling. Scientists are now paying attention. By 2023, space observations had revealed something unsettling: a massive magnetic filament near the sun's equator, packed with intense energy. What does this mean? A solar eruption might be on the horizon.
And so if one magnetic field with stored energy sees another magnetic field, those two look at each other and say, hey, if we connect, we can get rid of a lot of energy. They do so, they reconnect, pow!
One strong enough to launch a mega storm straight at Earth. If that happens, the consequences could be devastating. A surge of electromagnetic energy could fry power grids, knock out satellites, disrupt GPS, and send the world into an electrical blackout. Now here's the thing. Solar storms are nothing new. They happen roughly every 11 years. However, in the past, society wasn't this dependent on technology. In today's world, where everything runs on electronics, a major solar event could be disastrous. So the real question is, should we be worried? Scientists warn that while we've dodged major solar disasters before, our luck won't last forever. Governments and space agencies are working on early warning systems, but truthfully, there's only so much they can do against a force as powerful as the sun. Now, if the idea of a solar tsunami frying our tech-driven world wasn't unsettling enough, Nostradamus took things to an even darker place. Number 11. Cannibals on Earth. What would you do if there was no food left? Not just empty grocery shelves or a supply chain hiccup, but a full-blown global crisis where people are starving, desperate, and willing to do the unthinkable. That's the nightmare Nostradamus predicted for 2023. According to the infamous seer, a massive food shortage, triggered by war, climate disasters, or economic collapse, could push humanity to its breaking point. Of course, when survival is on the line, the rules of civilization go out the window. Now, this alternate reality is sure to be easy to dismiss. After all, we live in an era of fast food, meal delivery apps, and overstocked grocery stores. However, some experts believe Nostradamus might have been onto something. The war in Ukraine has already sent shockwaves through the global food supply. With Russia blocking grain exports, food prices have skyrocketed, hitting the world's poorest the hardest.
There's no gas in my home, no pensions, few supplies. I fish so I can boil myself a soup. I prefer to be outside. At least I can see the shells coming that way.
Millions in Ukraine are struggling, and while there are no reports of cannibalism, desperation has a way of changing history. Then there's the Horn of Africa, where a 40-year drought has created one of the worst food shortages in modern history. By 2023, nearly 36.4 million people were on the brink of hunger, and experts predicted full-scale famine shortly after. While the thought of cannibalism in today's world feels extreme, history tells us it's not impossible. Wars, famines, and disasters have pushed people to unspeakable lengths before. Plus, if food shortages spiral out of control, who's to say it couldn't happen again? As if things weren't already eerie enough, Nostradamus shifts our focus to the Vatican, where a chilling prophecy about the Pope's fate might be unfolding right before our eyes. Number 10. Nostradamus predicted Pope Francis's fate. Centuries ago, Michel de Nostradame, the legendary 16th century astrologer, made a cryptic prediction in his 1555 book, Les Prophéties, and let's just say, it's hitting a bit different right now. Nostradame warned of the passing of a very old pontiff and the election of a Roman of good age who would be seen as weakening the church. Now, fast forward almost 500 years, the Vatican revealed in 2025 that Pope Francis, the head of the Catholic Church, was in critical condition. Later, they reassured the world he had a peaceful night, and he even sent a message from his hospital bed, thanking supporters for their prayers.
We are hearing from Pope Francis for the first time since he was hospitalized.
Well, it's an encouraging sign to hear Pope Francis expressing his gratitude for the people who have been praying for him.
Eerily enough, this isn't the part that has spooked everyone. It's what comes next. You see, another prophecy, this time from 12th century Irish Saint Malachy, references the end. For centuries, a chilling prediction has loomed over the Vatican. According to Saint Malachy's prophecy of the popes, the final leader of the Catholic Church, nicknamed Peter the Roman, would shepherd his flock through great turmoil. What would happen when his time was up? The city of 7 hills would fall, and judgment would come. Some believe this means a new pope, possibly one taking the name Peter, could mark the beginning of the end. A shift in power and a prophecy coming to life. Since the beginning of 2025, all eyes have been on Pope Francis. The 87-year-old pontiff, who suffers from chronic lung disease and is prone to bronchitis in winter, was rushed to Rome's Gemelli Hospital on February 14th. 2025, after a week-long bout of bronchitis, took a dangerous turn. Doctors diagnosed pneumonia in both lungs. Then came the respiratory crisis, leaving him gasping for air. That same week, things took a turn for the worse. Francis suffered a prolonged asthmatic attack while being treated for a complex lung infection. He was given high doses of oxygen and underwent his first-ever blood transfusions after tests revealed dangerously low platelet counts. Doctors are watching closely. The Vatican has also stayed cautious. Experts say the Pope won't be clear anytime soon. His pre-existing lung disease makes him fragile, and if the infection enters his bloodstream, it could trigger sepsis, a deadly complication. While the fate of the Pope hangs in the balance, another prophecy looms over a different kind of leader. Number 9. Vladimir Putin, rise to power.
Уважать и охранять права и свободы человека и гражданина. Соблюдать и защищать Конституцию Российской Федерации.
Deep in the Koju Mountains of Bulgaria lies the grave of Baba Vanga, the blind mystic whose eerie prophecies have spooked believers and skeptics alike.
Vanga talked about these extraterrestrials that are invisible, or more like they are presences like clear reflections of water shimmering.
She wasn't just some fortune teller spinning vague riddles. No, Baba Vanga had the receipts. She saw the fall of the Soviet Union before it happened. She predicted the Chernobyl disaster. She named the exact date of Stalin's death. She foresaw the sinking of the Russian submarine Kursk and predicted the 9/11 attacks before the world had any clue. However, one of her most controversial prophecies, a vision of Vladimir Putin rising to unimaginable power. According to those who knew her, Baba Vanga predicted that Putin would lead Russia to dominate the world stage, calling him the Lord of the World. She believed Russia would become an unstoppable force, shaping global history in ways we can't yet comprehend. The haunting part? This prophecy is tied to the war in Ukraine, a conflict she reportedly foresaw long before it erupted.
So, when he goes into these other countries and they do nothing, like going to Crimea in 2014 and stealing that off Ukraine.
The details of her vision remain murky, but the idea of Putin ascending to this level of power has kept conspiracy theorists and political analysts on edge. Not everyone bought into Baba Vanga's vision of Putin reigning supreme. However, by 2024, people began to listen to her more closely. You see, Baba Vanga didn't just predict Putin's rise to power. She foresaw something far more dangerous along with it. She once declared that in the spring, a war in the East would begin, and there would be a Third World War. A war in the East that would destroy the West. That alone is unsettling. But what makes it even more chilling is that she also claimed Vladimir Putin would rise to become the Lord of the world, while Europe crumbles into a wasteland. If that wasn't enough, she didn't stop there. She also predicted the outcome of a war involving Russia, saying that Russia would not only survive, it would dominate the world. Fast forward to today, and it's hard not to feel a sense of déjà vu. By 2025, Russia's still locked in a brutal conflict with Ukraine, Western nations are deeply divided, and tensions with China, Iran, and North Korea are escalating. Coincidence, or a prophecy coming true before our eyes? It's not just mystics making dire predictions. Former United Kingdom Defense Secretary Grant Shapps recently issued a stark warning, declaring that the era of the peace dividend is over. What this means is that the world is entering a more dangerous period, and he singled out Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea as the nations to watch. With alliances shifting and military buildups intensifying, global conflict no longer feels like a far-fetched fantasy. Guess what? Nostradamus predicted this too. According to Nostradamus, 2025 would mark a turning point, a time when the influence of Western countries will decline as new world powers emerge. He spoke of a prolonged war, one that would leave soldiers exhausted after years of relentless combat. With ongoing wars, economic instability, and increasing global divisions, these predictions don't sound so far-fetched anymore. So, is the world on the brink? That's the question nobody wants to answer. Now, as the world teeters on the edge of chaos, another revolution is unfolding right in your shopping carts. Number 8. Robo-shopping. Let's face it, we love convenience. Whether it's one-click purchases, same-day delivery, or the thrill of adding just one more thing to our cart at 2 a.m., online shopping has taken over our lives. Amazon, eBay, and every other digital marketplace have turned physical stores into something we only visit when we absolutely have to. However, what if we told you that in the near future, you might never have to set foot in a store again? Klarna's latest data predicts a future where shopping is done from the comfort of your home, because robots will soon take over. With insights from 5,000-plus consumers across 5 countries and retail expert Kate Hardcastle, MBE, it's clear the next shopping revolution is coming, and it's all powered by automation. We're talking about delivery drones, tiny flying couriers dropping your groceries, gadgets, and late-night impulse buys straight to your doorstep. No waiting weeks for a package to arrive. Just a few taps on your phone, and your order lands right outside. Back in 2006, the US government passed a law allowing drones to be used for more than just military operations. Now companies are racing to turn these high-tech delivery bots into a mainstream reality. With major brands already testing drone deliveries, the future of shopping is starting to look a whole lot different. By 2016, Amazon introduced Prime Air, a drone delivery system designed to drop off packages in 30 minutes or less. However, that's just the beginning. The future could bring a world where stores become relics of the past, replaced by fleets of autonomous couriers. With rapid advancements in AI and robotics, robots could soon be handling everything from checkout to customer service, and maybe even suing for their own rights. Ultimately, shopping without stepping into a store is one thing. But what if the future takes it even further? Communication without even speaking. Number 7. Telepathy. We live in a world where texting, tweeting, and voice notes rule our conversations. However, what if, in the future, we didn't need words at all? What if you could send a message just by thinking about it? A British futurist named Ian Pearson, who has an 85% accuracy rate with his predictions, says this is exactly where we're headed. Let's talk about Pearson for a second, though. This guy saw the future before the rest of us caught up. He knew smartwatches would be a big hit. He even predicted people would be streaming music and subscribing in no time. Guess what? This was way back, around 30 years ago. Now, he's making another bold claim. By 2050, humans will be communicating telepathically. No more typing or awkward phone calls. Instead, our brains will do all the talking, literally. According to Pearson, this futuristic mind meld will happen through neurotechnology, specifically tiny computer chips implanted into our brains. These chips will act as a bridge between our minds and a massive cloud-based quantum network. Just think about it. Want to text your best friend? Just think it. Need to Google something? The answer pops into your head instantly. It sounds like magic, but Pearson insists it's science. He believes that once this technology is fully developed, we'll be able to form a massive brain-to-brain social network where thoughts and information flow freely between people without the need for spoken or written words. This incredible brain-to-brain network would even have a name: the Hybrid Intelligence Biometric Avatar, or HIBA for short. Imagine the possibilities and the problems. Sure, instant learning and effortless communication sound amazing, but what happens if someone hacks into your thoughts? With great power comes great privacy concerns. If our thoughts can travel through a vast neural network, what happens to our deepest secrets? Let's not even get started on what this means for personal identity. If your thoughts are floating around in the cloud, where do you really begin and end? Now, if reading minds isn't futuristic enough for you, how about a world where nobody owns a car? Number 6. No one will own cars. For decades, owning a car has been a symbol of freedom, status, and independence. However, according to Benjamin Clark, a professor at the University of Oregon, that might all be coming to an end sooner than we think. Clark isn't just throwing out wild guesses. He's looking at hard data. Car sales are plummeting worldwide, and in Germany alone, they've dropped by a staggering 30.5% in just a year. Even powerhouse brands like Audi, Porsche, and Volkswagen aren't immune to the decline. Clark predicts that by 2030, private car ownership in the United States will shrink by a jaw-dropping 80%. That means instead of the 247 million cars currently clogging the roads, we might be down to just 44 million. His vision for the future? A shift away from personal vehicles toward electric ride-sharing services, which he claims will be 4 to 10 times cheaper than buying a new car today. Families could save up to $5,600 per year just by ditching their vehicles and relying on these services instead. If Clark is right, the way we think about transportation is about to change forever. No more car payments or insurance headaches. Clark's predictions don't stop at ride-sharing, though. He also sees self-driving cars, or AVs, aka autonomous vehicles, becoming the new norm. These futuristic cars would operate without human drivers and could eventually be so common and affordable that some companies might even offer free rides.
It's a self-driving shuttle. All you have to do is wait at one of these dash stops, and a luxury SUV will come by and pick you up for free.
Of course, there's a catch. Passengers might have to sit through a few ads along the way. It's a wild vision of the future, but the numbers back it up. With car sales already in decline and electric ride-sharing services becoming more cost-effective, the idea of owning a car might soon feel as outdated as owning a horse. Clark's insights suggest that convenience, sustainability, and affordability will push more people to ditch personal vehicles in favor of smarter, cheaper alternatives. If he's right, we're standing on the edge of a transportation revolution, one where parking lots shrink, traffic jams ease, and the simple act of going for a drive takes on an entirely new meaning. As we edge closer to a world where we don't own cars, we might soon be looking at a future where we get to design the next generation. Number 5. Designer babies.
We're discovering technologies to make an old egg young again.
What if you could customize your baby the same way you pick out a new phone? Eye color, intelligence, athletic ability, tailored to your liking. Baba Vanga, the mysterious Bulgarian mystic, once claimed that starting in 2023, babies would be born in labs where scientists could control their traits. While that may have sounded wild a few decades ago, today's headlines suggest it's not just possible, it's already happening. Let's rewind to February 19th, 2020. That's when the world met the first baby born from a woman's eggs that were matured in a lab and then frozen. A team of French fertility doctors achieved this groundbreaking feat for a woman undergoing chemotherapy. They took 7 immature eggs from her ovaries, matured them in a lab, and successfully fertilized one, leading to the birth of a healthy baby. That's just the beginning. In 2022, a German biotechnologist introduced EcoLeaf, an artificial womb facility designed to give parents the ability to choose their baby's traits from a menu. Think of it as the first step toward designer babies, where genetic selection could become as normal as picking the features of a new car. The goal? Facilitating the birth of 30,000 lab-grown babies each year. However, not everyone is on board with this idea. The ethical debates are fierce. Critics argue that playing with genetics this way could open up a Pandora's box, raising moral, social, and even legal concerns. Many people wonder, should we be tampering with nature like this? Where do we draw the line between medical necessity and designer preferences? With the rise of designer babies challenging nature's blueprint, a centuries-old prophecy seems to predict an unexpected royal shakeup. Number 4. The fall of the royal family. Nostradamus didn't just hint at Queen Elizabeth's passing, he supposedly foresaw what would happen next. According to his writings, the new king would take the throne, but the people would reject him. Then, in a shocking twist, someone who never expected to rule would step in. When King Charles III ascended to the throne, it seemed like a straightforward transition. After all, he'd been waiting decades for this moment. However, according to some Nostradamus believers, his reign might not last as long as expected. The craziest part is that the next king might not be Prince William, or even Prince Harry. Yes, the same Prince Harry who stepped away from royal duties, moved to California, and wrote a tell-all memoir. What's more, the reason why Nostradamus' predictions are also being taken seriously is because some of them regarding the royal family have actually come true. In 2005, Nostradamus expert Mario Reading took a fresh look at the French seer's writings and made a startling interpretation. He claimed that Nostradamus foresaw King Charles taking the throne in his 70s, which so far checks out. However, Reading believed that Charles would be forced to abdicate due to lingering resentment from his past, particularly his highly publicized divorce from Princess Diana. Now let's be real, Charles and Camilla have come a long way in terms of public acceptance. However, could there still be a deep-seated resistance to his reign? If Nostradamus is right, that resistance could ultimately push Charles out. At the same time, Harry himself has said he doesn't want the throne. Plus, he's not even living in the UK anymore. So how on earth would this prophecy come true? Some Nostradamus followers aren't convinced Prince William or Prince Harry will take over. Instead, they point to Simon Durante Day, an Australian man who has long claimed to be the secret son of King Charles and Queen Camilla.
I believe I am Charles and Camilla's son.
I believe this has been a cover-up.
A royal love charm?
Yes.
Durante Day, who was born in the UK but raised in Australia, insists that he is Charles's firstborn child and was secretly given up for adoption. He's been vocal about his alleged royal ties for years, but the palace has never acknowledged his claims. Despite this, some conspiracy theorists believe he could be the unexpected king Nostradamus predicted. The problem? He has no official royal status, no public recognition from the monarchy, and no legal claim to the throne. So, unless some earth-shattering revelation proves his connection to the royal family, his chances of becoming king seem slim to none. If Nostradamus' prophecy about the royal family sent shockwaves through history, the next revolution isn't written in the stars, it's coded in circuits. Number 3. Robo-Men. We used to think cyborgs were just a fantasy, something out of a sci-fi blockbuster. Here we are, living in a world where humans and machines are merging. And the future, well, it's about to get even wilder. 1,000,000 years ago, Earth wasn't just home to one type of human. Neanderthals were the most advanced species back then, surviving off the land, hunting for food, and using primitive tools. Fast forward to 10,000 years ago, and modern humans started doing something game-changing: farming. No more endless hunting. We settled down, built communities, and grew food. Hello, civilization. That one shift changed everything. With food abundance and medical advancements, our bodies evolved. We got bigger, stronger, and most importantly, smarter. That brings us to today, where evolution isn't just about biology anymore. It has everything to do with our brain. The human brain itself is so powerful that even the fastest supercomputers on Earth would struggle to process just 1 second of human thought. That's how complex we are. However, artificial intelligence, or AI, is catching up. The smartest minds in tech believe that, in the future, AI will think, learn, and create just like us. Once that happens, we could be looking at a world where humans and machines merge completely. We're already seeing bionic limbs, brain-computer interfaces, and AI-powered assistants. Soon, we might be looking at fully integrated cyborgs, humans with robotic enhancements that boost intelligence, physical abilities, and even emotions. Future humans won't just adapt to technology, they'll merge with it. Tiny robots called nanobots will swim through our bodies, enhancing our natural abilities in ways we can't even begin to fathom. Think about it. What if your immune system could instantly destroy any disease? What if you could heal from injuries in seconds? This isn't some far-off dream. Nanomedicine is already being used to target cancer cells, and scientists are actively working on ways to integrate these microscopic machines into our bodies. Merging with machines is just the beginning, though. The next big leap could redefine how we move, power our cities, and even defy gravity itself. Number 2. Superconductivity. Cars gliding above roads, trains levitating at lightning speed, planes flying without releasing pollution. These concepts may seem futuristic, but science suggests they could become reality sooner than expected, all thanks to superconductivity. Superconductors are materials that can conduct electricity with zero resistance. No wasted energy, no heat loss, just pure efficiency. The challenge? They only work at extremely low temperatures, around minus 173 degrees Celsius. For decades, scientists have been searching for ways to make them function at room temperature. The race for room temperature superconductivity is heating up, and it's closer than ever. Ranga Dias, who once stunned the world with his claim of a breakthrough, insists that superconductivity is coming soon. After his announcement, a South Korean lab raised the stakes with their own daring discovery. While both claims faced setbacks, the truth is undeniable. We're on the edge of something huge. If this becomes possible, the impact will be enormous. Transportation could be completely transformed. High-speed maglev trains could replace traditional rail systems. Cars could levitate, eliminating the need for tires and roads as they exist today. Power grids could operate with near-perfect efficiency, reducing electricity costs and eliminating energy waste. You know what? Some of this technology is already in motion. In 2022, a company called Klein Vision successfully tested a flying car. It completed 200 takeoffs and 70 hours of flight time, using only a small amount of gasoline. While not powered by superconductivity, it proves that groundbreaking transportation advancements are already happening. There's still work to do, though. Scientists and engineers are racing against time, trying to crack the code for superconductors that work in everyday conditions. While superconductivity promises to revolutionize transportation, another groundbreaking frontier is on the horizon, one that challenges the very essence of life and death. Number 1. Necromancy. A few decades ago, if you told someone we'd be chatting with the dead, uploading our minds into computers, and letting tiny robots swim through our bloodstream, they'd probably tell you to lay off the sci-fi movies. Guess what, though? A guy named Ray Kurzweil predicts this can actually happen. There's a big reason why people are believing his predictions now.
50 years ago, I wrote a paper describing how I thought the brain worked, and I described it as a series of modules. Each module could do things with a pattern.
After all, this man isn't just another tech bro with big ideas. He's the mastermind behind some of the most game-changing inventions of our time. Ever used a flatbed scanner? That was him. Ever heard of speech recognition software? Yep, him again. Sure enough, when this guy talks about the future, Even the biggest names in tech listen. So, what's his wildest prediction?
This morning, Ray Kurzweil, the inventor and futurist who's been working in the field of artificial intelligence longer than anyone alive. His new book is called The Singularity is Near.
That in the next 30 years, we'll be able to talk to the dead, and not in a ghostly seance in the basement kind of way. According to Kurzweil, nanobots will be able to extract memories from the human brain and store them in a digital database. AI will then use those memories to recreate your loved ones, mimicking their voice, personality, and even intelligence. Think about that. Imagine logging into a virtual reality space and having a full conversation with your grandmother, hearing her laugh, watching her react, and feeling like she never left. Kurzweil believes that the AI version will be so convincing that you won't even realize you're not talking to the real person. It's mind-blowing and terrifying, and if he's right, it's coming sooner than we think. What makes all of this even wilder? Ray Kurzweil has been right about 90% of the time. If he's on the money again, his predictions could change everything we thought we knew about life, death, and human connection. What's more, that's not the only future-defining prediction out there. Scientists are also chasing something equally mind-blowing: free, unlimited energy. Think about this. With the right technology, we could generate 500 megawatts of power in just a few seconds, cheaply, efficiently, and endlessly. Sounds impossible. It's not as far-fetched as you'd think. Nikola Tesla himself once invented a machine designed to pull limitless energy from the space around us. Today, some scientists believe just a tiny fraction of this energy could be enough to boil the entire ocean. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.